Behind the scenes in the real estate market, there's a dark, secret plan to destroy the American dream. And it's happening right now, here in the United States.
I don't think anybody can dispute the fact that there's just not enough affordable housing.
I would say probably a third of the listings that I'm putting up are getting investor offers.
Well, it means that you would own nothing.
And you think I'm just imagining this stuff? Crazy old Rowan with his conspiracy theories? Think again.
Just a conspiracy theory. Sit tight, grab a drink, get comfortable while I give you some mind-blowing facts. A few months back, I made a video called The Death of a Small Town. Maybe you saw it. If you didn't, I'll link it at the end. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Got a question for you. Have you been paying attention? Do you know what's going on around you in your town? Have you noticed apartment complexes going up everywhere? Lots of them. In my area alone, there's probably over 30,000 apartments that have gone up over the last 5 years. And while I don't have the exact number for the number of apartments that have gone up in the United States, I can tell you it's staggering. And all the buzz in the news that we're going to have a housing crash, that foreclosures are going to just explode. It's going to affect housing prices and also bring rents down. Well, crickets, right? Yeah, that hasn't happened yet. Have you put much thought into why? I'm not sure where you live, and I'd love to know what's happening in your area. That's why there is a comment section, and I do read your comments. But here in the state of Florida, the construction is off the chain crazy. It does not stop. But the most interesting thing is none of the construction is really considered affordable housing. At least not for the average American.
There's no good options right now. You mentioned it earlier. Home affordability as of this morning is at a 38-year low, lowest since the mid-1980s. And rent's not affordable either. I mean, rent prices tend to trail home prices. They're slowing down a little bit, but you're still seeing unaffordable rents out there in the market as well. And so regardless of where you look, shelter costs are just simply expensive.
You know, I can remember when I went off to college and spent a few years in the less than desirable student housing. Couldn't wait to get out of there, and I could not wait to buy my own home. Maybe that describes you, whether you're a first-time home buyer or a retiree that just wants an affordable place to live in your golden years. You know, I make these videos so that I can inform you on what's really happening, so I can pull back the curtain so you can understand what the moving parts are in our economy, our government, and in the housing industry. Particularly the fact that we have Wall Street with their hands in the housing industry. And more importantly, how they want to hold you down and enslave you to be a renter forever.
Some members of Congress believe Wall Street is a part of the problem.
What's outrageous is your tax dollars are helping Wall Street buy up single-family homes. You're subsidizing Wall Street.
Massive private equity firms like Blackstone and Pradium Partners have backed a relatively new breed of homeowner, the corporation.
American dream, it's being crushed. There are many forces working in the background, which makes me work even harder to expose what's going on. Right now, there's pretty much a plan to destroy the American dream by developers, the government, and these people. All of those people want you to be a renter forever. And while that might seem a little far-fetched, actually it is true. There are many forces out there that really don't want you to be a homeowner. And there is a variety of reasons why. Homeowners happen to be more likely to be independent thinkers, for one, and that's just not allowed these days. If you're a homeowner, of course, you're building equity and wealth for your future and not building equity for the developer, of course. You know, you pesky little homeowners, You make decisions based upon reason. Like appliances, for instance. You look for the most affordable ones, the most efficient ones, the ones that are going to work best for your lifestyle, not the ones that the government wants you to use. But I digress. Let's talk about what these companies like BlackRock, Blackstone, State Street, let's talk about what they have in store for you. If you're someone that's been sitting on the sidelines waiting for home prices to drop, you can, in part, thank all of those corporations for the prices not falling. You know, these big corporations, they're going to save the day. You know, because as a buyer, you're dealing with high home prices, high interest rates, and they're going to save you from that. They know you want to live in a beautiful home, so they're going to give you one for you to rent. They're building homes for you to rent.
This growing industry buys or builds single-family homes and then rents them out.
We hear from community organizers that are door knocking in certain neighborhoods and are just surprised by how many of the homes on a particular block will be owned by a corporate landlord.
So if you see all these neighborhoods going up, many of them are a build-to-rent model, and their intention is to have you move in. And you may be saying, oh, Lisa, I'm already a homeowner. This really doesn't affect me. Well, actually it does. You know, while all these companies are building rental homes, they could be building affordable housing, but they're not, because they make a heck of a lot more money renting the house than getting a small profit off of one sale. And they are manipulating the housing market. It's not just those companies that I mentioned. It's also the real estate investment trusts, pension fund managers, the institutional investor, annuity funds. They're all doing it. Even the government has their hand in this you will own nothing scam. Quietly in the background, our government is making policy to change residential zoning. That's right. They want to abolish residential zoning in most cities so that you can, too, have a big old apartment complex right in your neighborhood. It's easier to control people that live in a tiny little apartment. They want everyone to live in a small area, aka 15-minute city. I mean, have you asked yourself why there are so many apartments being constructed everywhere? And of course, it does play into the fact that we do have the pension funds, the real estate investment trusts, your annuity plans, all of the people that are getting ready to retire are going to start drawing off those plans. There are a ton of people that are getting ready to retire in the next 5 years. And in order to keep those funds going, they need to have the investments to support all of that cash that's going out. I'm sure people watching this video may be invested in a pension fund, in an IRA, some type of annuity. You've been saving for retirement. Have you ever really thought about where all that money is being invested? And companies like BlackRock and Blackstone are competing with you to even buy homes. They're buying up single-family homes everywhere. And they're buying them for cash. I mean, recently, Blackstone just purchased 38,000 single-family homes. Now, it's real hard to have a real estate crash when you're competing with all of these big conglomerates. They're all paying cash for these properties and scooping them up left and right. Even large hedge funds are into real estate investing, and they take the rent, they put it back into the fund and reinvest it, often into buying more properties. Many of these companies are looking for passive income and, of course, the tax benefits that come along with real estate investing. And, of course, they'll tell you you'll own nothing and be happy at the same time. I'm not a fan of that, and you shouldn't be either. It's my personal opinion that everyone should have the opportunity to get ahead. If you work hard, save your money for a down payment on a home, why shouldn't you be able to achieve the American dream?
In the back of their mind of never really owning the property, and look, I believe it has to be a right time to own, but to tell somebody that that should not be a part of the American dream, here's what I want to say. Home ownership. There are people that buying a home was the only investment they ever made in their entire life?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and you think about that, but that to them was the achievement of the American dream. And God bless them, because they worked hard to be able to do that.
Having these large companies manipulate the housing market is not good for society. It's not. You know, homeowners are more responsible. They take pride in their community. That's just not necessarily the case for a large rental community. And quite frankly, with high inflation, the middle class right now is totally being crushed.
In middle class and working class Americans' lives, and they are being decimated. They are saving less. They are spending more. They were promised that they were not going to have any new taxes, but we know that inflation is a permanent tax on them. We know the personal saving rate is down below 4%. We know that debt is over, household debts at a record high of $17.1 trillion at the end of last quarter, the second quarter.
This slow-moving crisis is happening quietly in the background, and to add insult to injury, you have these corporations and entities brainwashing our youth to tell them that home ownership is bad and they should rent forever. You know, people need something to look forward to. Most people really enjoy owning a home. It is the American dream. If you don't own your future, who does? BlackRock? And many of these institutions, you know, they're buying up entire neighborhoods, outbidding the consumer. They're paying cash. They're paying more than what you and I would pay for a property. And often they're making deals with the builder and just buying up all the homes so that those homes never come to market for you to buy. That's called a monopoly. And with that, they can control pricing and what's happening with rents. You know, builders could build affordable homes if they wanted to, but many of them just think it's easier to sell to a real estate investment trust, you know, a hedge fund. It's easier to do that than to deal with the consumer. But I've got a question for you. What's happening in your market? What's happening with prices where you live? Here in Florida, real estate inventory is going up, and so are the prices. Year over year, first quarter of 2024, prices were up 3.5%. Let me know what's going on in your neighborhood. I'd love to know. You know, we do have legislation being looked at to limit the number of homes that companies like BlackRock could own. However, that bill has not passed, and you know how well the government works. So I don't have high hopes that they will pass that. If this is a topic that resonates with you, you should write your legislator. Contact your state representatives. And yes, it does make a difference. Maybe not one letter, but if they get several hundred letters, believe me, they pay attention. I'd love to see some legislation that said that the builder had to offer the home to a real home buyer first before offering it to a corporation. You know, this can affect you at any stage of life, whether you are a first-time home buyer or someone that's looking to retire. The type of behaviors that are happening in the background with these corporations do affect the real estate market. They do affect real estate prices, and they certainly affect rents. So, you should be concerned about this. Everybody needs a place to call home, and everybody wants one that they can afford. If I haven't already told you, I appreciate you giving me part of your day. If you got something out of this video, if you enjoyed it, learned something new, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It certainly helps my channel. Consider subscribing if you haven't done so already, because I would love to see you back here again. My name is Lisa. This is Living with Lisa. Take care. Be good. Oh, make sure to watch this next video. It's a real eye-opener.